Hi guys, this is Isa from PrintStick, and in this video I want to talk to you about the iPad 2018 versus the iPad Pro. They both take the Apple Pencil, so they're pretty much your best option for planning. But which one should you get? I'm gonna go over simple things such as the way they look, the size, the weight, and of course the way they perform. I have been using the iPad Pro for a few months. I absolutely love it, so I might gravitate towards choosing that one. However, I did just get the iPad for my mom and she really likes it so far. So I'm just gonna give you the main differences that I get to see when using both devices, and then you get to choose which one is right for you. I have them both here. I actually got the same cover for her. I'm gonna leave the covers on. The iPad Pro that I'm gonna be showing you is the 10.5 inches. You also have, I think, 12.9. There's a bigger size. So I'm gonna be showing you the small size from the iPad Pros. Let me put them next to each other. I don't know if you can see, but this taller one is the iPad Pro and the smaller one is the iPad 2018. The iPad Pro is a little bit thicker by as I said, these has the case on, so obviously that makes a difference, but it's the same case, so they both grow a little bit with it. Can you see better there? So this one is the iPad Pro and this one is the iPad 2018. By the way, if you're interested in these cases, I'm gonna leave a link down below. I got them from Amazon. They have this cool pen holder for your Apple Pencil, which is really nice, and they're removable. You can remove this part and just keep the back cover, which is pretty amazing. Okay, so that was the overall size of the iPad, but I want to show you what the screen looks like. My mom used to have the, I don't even know, maybe the second iPad that ever came out before this one, and honestly it looks really similar. You have this bigger white frame, and the iPad Pro you have more screen even though the size is similar. Actually, I'm gonna take the covers off. You slide it down and it's off. You can see how much bigger the screen is for the iPad Pro. For a little bigger size of the whole device, you get a much bigger screen. And this one, I mean, it's still pretty good. Regarding the size of the screen, I'm gonna say, to me, this just looks prettier, elegant, more professional if you want. This one is still pretty amazing. If you want to choose between the size of the actual screen, there's no big difference. I would say choose the cheaper option, which is gonna be the next point, the price. The iPad Pro starts at $645, I believe. This is for the 10.5 inches. The 12.9 inches is a little more expensive. And the iPad 2018 starts at $329 for 32 gigabytes of memory, which if you're only going to be using this for planning, I think that 32 could be enough. However, I think that it's extremely possible that you want to use other apps such as Procreate, Graphic, Vectorinator. You might get excited and start creating your own digital stickers, and you might even discover things that you didn't know you could do with your iPad. So I would suggest to get at least the middle storage. Regarding the weight, it still has the back cover, but I can feel, honestly, I don't feel a big difference. This one, okay, so I think the iPad Pro might be thinner. Yeah, definitely. Can you see? Kind of. It's blurry, but this is the iPad, this is the iPad Pro, and as you can see, it's a little thicker. This one feels nicer. Hold it like this, like it's a thin notebook. It's even a lot thinner than any notebook. This one, I mean, it's still pretty good. If you've never used either of these and you just get the iPad, the cheaper option, you're gonna love it. To me, it's only after using the iPad Pro and feeling it and seeing it that I'm like, okay, it's nicer than the iPad. So regarding weight, I mean, you can see all these specific details on the Apple website. I think that maybe this is a little bit heavier. I'm not sure if that's just what I feel because it feels thicker. There's not a big difference regarding weight. Alright, so regarding display or the way that images look, I'm not very technical. I don't know things about megapixels or pixels or any of that. I'm just gonna show you the way it looks like to me and to the camera. I have the exact same photo here. It's a picture that I actually drew on the iPad. This is the iPad Pro on the left and this is the iPad on the right side. I feel that you can see slightly more definition on the iPad Pro. Here they are zoomed in a little bit. I feel like the colors look a little brighter here. And yeah, it's definitely better definition because it even looks as if the image was pixelated now that I'm zoomed in. and I can't really see that with this one. In this case, it doesn't matter at all. It actually looks better here because it's not pixelated, but that means that maybe this one shows you more detail. I mean, that's one of the qualities of the iPad Pro. So for display and the way that images will look, I'm gonna say they're the same. Alright, so the last point that I'm gonna review is how well they work when planning, because after all, this channel is for digital planning. The first thing I'm gonna mention is when I make my planners, I configure them to fit exactly the screen of the iPad Pro. So that's kind of irrelevant, it doesn't really matter, but if you look at this page, you can see that there's no gray space anywhere. It's configured to fit perfectly when you have your GoodNotes tabs open here. So that's like nice. It almost looks like it's part of the app. The exact same planner on the regular iPad. Since the screen is slightly a different size, you can see you get some gray areas on the side of each page. I think that's interesting that actually the size and the proportions of the screens change depending on which device you're using. Alright, so regarding using your Apple Pencil on either of the iPads, there is definitely a difference. I have heard people saying that there's no difference whatsoever, but I think that happens when they are using the iPad Pro after having used the regular iPad. In my case, I've been using the iPad Pro since I started, you know, with digital planning, and now that I use the regular iPad, I can definitely see a difference regarding the speed and I don't know how to describe it, like how exact my stroke is. Of course, it's very exact on the iPad as well, but here's like as if this pen had, you know, ink. So I feel that there's ink coming out of the tip of this pencil as I write on the screen. The ink comes out immediately. And when I write on the regular iPad, it's obviously very exact as well, but I can definitely see how I first move my pen and then the stroke comes slightly after. I can't even measure it as in like half a second, split second, because it's really quick, but there's definitely like a gap of time between me writing and the ink actually coming out, kind of. And another interesting little thing is that if I put my pen on the iPad screen, I actually can see a space between the screen and my pencil. Of course, this has a screen protector and that obviously contributes to this separation, but on the iPad Pro, there's no separation. It's literally, it feels like paper. All right here, an interesting thing is that I have the exact same pen size. I have 3.4 here for the iPad Pro and 3.4 for the iPad. This is funny, like I feel that they write different, you know, this one is a lot thicker than the iPad. I'm not sure why that is. I wanted to show you the exact same, you know, width of the pen, but I don't know why it's writing differently. I'm actually puzzled by that, but I just wanted to show you how both devices perform. So this one is the iPad. I can write well, it's my left hand, and this one is the Pro. I can make this smaller to make it look similar. Here we go. Obviously, I can do it well with my left hand, but maybe you can see how they perform. The iPad Pro is slightly faster or more exact. So that's, I think, the main difference that I can notice between the two. Another thing, not when planning, but when I was surfing the internet or doing some other thing, I was using this iPad, my mom's iPad, for some reason, and then I was, you know, trying to use it exactly as I would use my own iPad Pro, and I noticed a lag. I was like, oh, why is this taking so long? And this so long was like half a second more than usual, but I could tell that there was a difference. I can't remember what I was doing exactly. I noticed a difference. So it's definitely a little bit slower, I would say. All right, so, you know, I talked about the main difference that I can see between the two iPads. I just wanted to talk to you about, you know, if you're using it in everyday life, what is the difference that you would see between the two? So the answer you've been waiting for, which iPad should you get for digital planning? I'm sorry, there's no answer that I can give you. I use my iPad for so much more than just planning, and having the iPad Pro is is definitely worth it. I have so many apps, I have plenty of storage. It's so fast, it's so exact. I think it has crashed once or twice on certain apps, but I use it so smoothly and I can do anything I want, and it's never like, oh, I have to wait for this to load or anything. It works just as you would expect it. My opinion might be a little bit unfair because I have not used the iPad as much. I just, you know, gave it to my mom. I'm teaching her how to use it, so I'm using it a little bit, but not for as long as I have been using the iPad Pro. So if you want your iPad and Apple Pencil strictly for digital planning, then yes, go for the cheaper option. You're gonna save half the price of an iPad Pro. Just keep in mind that it's very possible that you're gonna want to have more apps and have this big array of possibilities for digital planning. You have so many apps that can help you with other activities, but even if you just want to stick to digital planning, you still have a lot of options using different apps, needing more storage and better performance. Now, if you want to do anything more than digital planning, if you're a graphic designer or you're just all day on your iPad doing work or having many apps open and stuff, I think that the iPad Pro is a great option. If you're gonna be using it all the time, then it's definitely a good investment. If you're not gonna be using it all the time, then the iPad works great as well. I'm sorry if I don't have a concrete answer for you. If you have all the money in the world and you get to choose, obviously I would say get the iPad Pro, even though it's a little bigger, so that's something to keep in mind, but it's slightly bigger. That's not so important. So either option you choose, I think that you're gonna be super happy. Both options work wonderfully for digital planning. Either one of those is great. Even if you can only afford the 32 gig iPad 2019, I think it's fine. You have the cloud to save all of your photos or videos. 32 gigs should be enough for you to have all your planners and even some other apps and planner supplies like stickers and such. Alright guys, so those are my main thoughts regarding both iPads. I hope that this video was helpful and gave you a better idea of what to expect if you get one or the other. Please let me know down below in the comment section if you have a different opinion or which iPad you're using and if you love it and why you love it. That might help other people get a better idea of which one they should get. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, so let me know. Subscribe to be notified whenever I upload a new digital planning video. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.